Hey, this is Joe Van Cleef. Welcome to another episode of the Typewriter video series. And today I wanted to talk about our typewriter collection as liking it to your kids, your children. Not every child in your family is the same. If you came from a large family, you know all your siblings were different. No two kids were the same. If you have children of your own, you know that to be true. They're all unique individuals, and that is true with our typewriters. Even same or similar models of the same brand, two almost identical specimens, can have unique or different attributes from another. I just came back this afternoon from my trip up to Colorado to visit my aunt and to return her Royal Model 10 typewriter to her after I'd had it for over a month repairing it. And in case you haven't seen it, I'm uploading the video for it this evening, which the title is This Was the Time, sequel to Now Is the Time for All Good Men. But in returning her typewriter to her, I had also loaned her my Olympia SF, and I just, of course, got that back as well. And I have some new feelings about that typewriter. So I hadn't used the Olympia SF typewriter in well over a month. It had been up in Colorado with my aunt. And I got it back, sat it down on the table on my desk, threaded up a piece of paper. The first thing I remembered about it, I noticed, was how wonderful the appearance of the typewriter is. Just that rounded, compact look, the cream color, how nice the ratcheting action on the carriage on the platen was. And then I began typing, and wow, I fell in love with this machine instantly all over again. I had forgotten how nice of a portable typewriter this was. It has a soft, wonderful touch. This is one of the few portable typewriters in my collection that I can actually touch type on. It is that good. I really fell in love with this machine again after having been separated for about a month or so. I had forgotten. And this is an interesting phenomenon. This little Olympia typewriter didn't start out as my favorite typewriter. When I got it from the thrift store, it had a terrible line spacing problem. Whatever position the line spacing selector was, it would always do double spacing or 1.5 spacing. You couldn't get it down to single spacing. And I had to disassemble that whole mechanism on the left side of the carriage, and it took me a long time to get that thing set. It was only after I got that problem fixed that this machine really became one of my favorites, because it does have such a beautiful touch to it. Our initial opinion about typewriters in our collection can, over time, change based on the improvements we make to the typewriter. In this case, with the Olympia having repaired that line spacing problem, and because of its beautiful appearance, its design, its small, lightweight form factor, and its touch, it becomes one of my favorites indeed. But it wasn't the favorite of mine when it was first purchased, but I saw some possibilities in it if I could fix that problem. Another machine in my collection that I've been enjoying using quite a bit recently is my old 1930s Underwood Portable, and it has that lovely touch. It kind of very similar to the Olympia SF actually. It's a lot easier to use than some of the heavier, tighter portables. It has just a nice enough touch that you really can, at least I can, pretty well touch type on it. So those are the machines that I'm really attracted to, you know, those portables that still have a really good touch to them. You can type fast, but they're easy to carry and move around. I really gravitate to those, and I end up using those a lot in my collection. Unfortunately, I neglect a lot of the other machines that I have that may not be quite as portable or maybe not quite as nice of a touch. And so that's a problem. I think I need to rotate my machines more often just to appreciate them, just to appreciate each individual one. Like You know, if you have a family, you don't want to ignore one of your children. You have to give them all attention. Or even if you have pets, every pet is going to try to gain your attention and your affection, and they're all individuals. And so I think in our love and appreciation for typewriters, we really need to spend time, a little bit of time with all of them. Now, another reason why you might want to spend a little bit of time with all of the machines in your collection is you might have put a machine away in the closet a couple months ago with the idea, the understanding that it was operating properly. Maybe it had some little issue that you had to address, and then you began using it more afterwards, and you thought it was reliable, it's fixed. Well, if you leave it in the closet for a couple months and then pull it out, you might just find that problem or a different problem has reoccurred. And so this is another reason to circulate through our collection, is to get them all, keep them all in good working order, to discover those intermittent bugs, and it gives us time to iron out the problems in each one. As we start using it, discover, hey, I have a little bit of a problem with this, I better address this. So you take it out to the workshop or wherever you like to tinker with your typewriters, and maybe you have to do a little lubrication or cleaning or adjustment or whatever. You know, that's a good reason, a good way to keep your entire fleet of typewriters in good shape. So I think one of these lessons here is that you should never take your typewriter collection for granted. You should always try to rotate through the machines and not stick with one of them just because you think it's that good, better than everything else, but give everything a shot, give everything a chance. And you'll discover new things about your collection that you may have forgotten from it having spent some time in the closet, or not, at least not in use. And this brings to mind the idea that oftentimes you will change your opinion about typewriters in your collection over time. You might initially gain some kind of a perspective about one of your typewriters, an opinion about it, the way it feels. Like, oh, that feels kind of tight, or maybe it feels kind of mushy. And then you set it aside for a while and you start working with other machines that might appeal to you for other reasons. And for instance, my pretty little blue Brother Webster XL747 is a beautiful blue typewriter, and it's a little compact portable, and it's tight, and it has a heavy touch to it. You have to really hit the keys. But it's a nice, reliable, solidly built machine. And so because of the color and, you know, the portability, I kind of give it a pass regarding the slightly heavy touch. And then I come back to another typewriter that I might have not considered as well, and all of a sudden I have a new opinion about some of its attributes that I might not have had before. Another example is my large Underwood Olivetti Model 21. And it's been in the closet for a while. I really need to get it out and start using it more. It has a nice touch. It has that kind of Olivetti touch, but it's a bigger machine. So you will change your opinion about your machines over time as you rotate them through your collection. And a lot of it depends upon which machine you were using before you started using the next one. Your opinion might change. Like, for instance, this little Olympia SF has such a wonderful touch. If I use that for a while and then go to one of the Brothers, I will immediately think, oh, the Brothers feel kind of tight. They don't have as easy of a touch. As an example of how very similar typewriters in your collection can be so different, can be literally unique individuals, I'll point out to you my Smith Corona Silent, my Smith Corona Silent Super, and the Smith Corona Sterling. Now, of those three, the Sterling has the lowest feature set because of where it lies within the model lineup of the 5 Series Smith Coronas. But the Super and the Silent Supers are very similar to each other, yet they have different touches to them. Noticeably different. Now, they've had different histories as individual typewriters. I believe my Silent Super was in a really bad shape, filthy, dirty took a lot more cleaning and adjustment over time to get it reliable. But they still have a slightly different touch, and part of this, I think, has to do with the complex mechanics of manual typewriters. Any little kind of variation in the wear and adjustment and cleanliness of these interacting parts will affect the overall system performance because of how many parts there are. The way the linkages all have friction one upon another when they're moving, and all the interaction between those systems, there is a lot of variation, even though they're identical typewriters. So these typewriters end up being like individuals. They're all unique. Every one of them has a different wear on their external appearance, and of course they have different typefaces also of these three. So this is just an example of how individual typewriters, even though on paper they appear very similar, they are all unique. This is why it's so difficult to pare down one's typewriter collection to just one or two typewriters, because they're all unique. They all have unique attributes, not just because of the model and brand, but the individual sample. And yeah, they are like a person that hoards cats. You know, you don't want to get rid of any of them. They're all unique. At least the typewriters don't pee on the floor. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the typewriter video series, and I hope that you appreciate your typewriter collection a little bit more. Appreciate every individual member of your typewriter family, and take them out of the closet and give them all a workout. Until next time, you have yourselves a great day.